Hi everyone, welcome to my 21st video of 2022. This is a channel about cross stitching, so if that's nothing you're into, then bye bye. If you do like cross stitching, then welcome. If you're new, it's lovely to have you here. If you're returning, then it's also lovely to have you here. Yeah. My computer somehow is like acting up today, so we'll just see how well this video goes. I'm a mess. I have just come home. I have like maybe 2 hours to myself before my husband and son comes home. I was planning on doing this when they go back to school and work, but the problem is, if you remember, in summer we had to fix the walls with the rat issues, and people came and did tear down some inside walls, and for some reason they have like used forever to come and fix it again. So they put up some walls because we complained that it was soon winter, it was gonna get cold, like you have to repair the walls or else our house will just be leaking warmth. Like we cannot keep the house warm if some of them are teared down. It's as easy as that. Of course we have the outside wall up and running, but still it's a lot of heat loss with some walls not being properly put up. So they came and put them up, and then we were told there were some other people that were gonna come and make it look pretty, because what they put up is like it doesn't look good even when it's dark. So those people that are coming to make my home look like it should be, before they came and did tear down our walls, they are coming on Monday when school and work starts, and I have no clue how long they will take to actually fix everything back up. It might take 1 day, it might take 2 weeks, like I have no clue. So I figured I just need to get this video out here, show you the last of the stuff I stitched on in 2021. I haven't stitched anything so far because it's the 1st of January. As I said, we have been traveling, so I haven't been able to stitch. So, yeah. First off, I have some stitching enhancements stuff. I got a new sweatshirt. I would rather be at Hogwarts. It's amazing. I would have been wearing this if it wasn't for the fact it's a little bit bulky, so when lifting things up and showing things, it's just I don't like that. So then my Christmas present from my husband is one of the most amazing thing ever. It's a giant sweater. Like it's massive. Like I can fit 3 people of me inside here, and the thing is you can actually turn it around. Like it's made so you can use it both ways, but this white stuff, it's really soft and fluffy, so I like to have it on the inside. But you can turn it around, and it has this pocket to have stuff in, and the same pocket is on the outside. If I turn it around, so you have this pocket right here, and it has a nice hoodie with the white fluffy stuff, and it's super warm, and it has these flexible arm thing, so when you have your arm in there, it kind of fits your arm and keep it like all tight around your hand without squeezing, so no cold gets inside the fluffiness. So yeah, that's pretty nice. When it comes to stitchy stuff, I got the needle minder for daily 30. It's a closed group. Sometimes it opens up and we can invite more people, but that will most likely not happen before, I don't know, spring, summer. But the new yearly daily 30, it's called Animal Adventure, and I have the needle minder for that. Black Pear Stitchery is by Carrie and Stitches on Flosstube. So you can actually follow her on Flosstube if you want to. And she's based in the UK, so it's really nice for me when it comes to shipping because it doesn't cost my house. And then the Big Disney Dreams kit. A friend of a person I know, I am doing a stitching challenge with. She was talking to a friend of mine because I'm doing it with a friend, and she was gonna throw away some Disney Dreams kits, like the big ones. And my friend said, don't do that. I probably know somebody that want to buy that. Like, you can sell it. Like, don't just throw it in the trash. So she contacted me and was like, do you want to buy this? And I'm like, yes. Like, I don't care what it costs. Yes. Almost don't care what it costs. And I knew it would be a pretty good deal since she had said that she kind of just wanted to get rid of it. So I got 10 of the Big Disney Dreams kits from her. I bought them. Yes, they did cost a good amount because it's 10 of them, but the price is like what I would pay if I was buying one, maybe 2 of them on eBay. So it was a really nice deal. Like, she didn't rob me or anything. And when I realized who it was, I'm like, oh, I also play games with you. Hi. So that was nice. I'm not going to show them right now because I have a lot to show. But it contains at least Pinocchio, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. That's the main reason I bought them, is to get the Beauty and the Beast. And yeah, some more of them. So that was really nice. Some of them are started, or all of them are started. Some of them have a lot of stitching and some of them have just a few stitches in them. So eventually they will get their time. I don't know if I will get any started this year, but we'll see. My plan is to first and foremost try and get my whip list down. Not because I have a big problem with a lot of whips, but because my Google spreadsheets have a problem with a lot of whips. Like, it freaks out a lot on my iPad because I use my iPad when I'm tracking stitches, and I have made a spreadsheet that like counts my stitches, how much I've done throughout the year, throughout the month, and it also counts down how many stitches are left for each of the different prompts I'm doing in different challenge groups. So there's a lot of going on each sheet, so I can't have a lot because it makes it freak out. So I hope during the 22 and 22, where I'm only gonna focus on 22 projects at a max at a time, I hope that will fix the issue, because right now I'm just having multiple places where my spreadsheets are to kind of keep track of everything. And it's a little bit annoying, so I hope I manage to find a way to make it work. Okay, so my plan, rest of this video, show the projects I have worked on. I'm gonna show the project that I so far have decided to do in 2022. I have a few ones that I'm gonna show that are like a big possibility they will come on my 22 and 22. And then I have a little bit of cross-stitching haul. So, let's get going. Okay. So, first off, I have a finish. Find the picture. I'm not gonna edit this, so I'm just gonna find the pictures for you to show on the side here. So this is Moonlight Bunny. Maybe hold it the right way for you. And it's super cute. I decided to do my initials down here, like hanging from the moon, like these things are. And it's all of the moon is specialty stitch, and it's a different kind of Jessica stitch. Like all of them are different kinds of Jessica stitches. And there's some beading on there. And the moon is stitched in a DMC variegated floss. It's called for. So yeah, it's the bunny itself took me like, I don't know, 45 minutes to do in total. And the moon, it took a lot longer than I thought it would, because all those specialty stitches, they really did take a lot of time to get done, especially since they're different sizes and you're constantly switching between what pattern you're doing. So especially in the beginning, I started down here and worked my way up and around. Especially in the beginning, like every time I did switch what kind of Jessica stitch I was doing, I have to refer to the pattern, how to do the stitches and so on and so forth. Because I didn't remember, and if I came over that again, like, I don't know, 5 days later, I had forgot how it was, so I needed to get a reminder. But then at the end, I could almost do all of them without looking at the pattern, because I just needed to see where they were supposed to be placed and just stitch. So, I think I know how to do the Jessica stitch now without too much issues. So, that's my last finish for 2021. And that made it so I have 98 whips going into 2022. So I did UFO a good amount of projects. So I haven't counted them on my whip list. I'm not going to, because they are gonna be restarted. Then I needed a Christmas ornament to stitch on. So I pulled out Mill Hill Home for Christmas. I had a tiny bit started in 2021, just 200 stitches on each of the perforated papers, because there's two sides. So this one I haven't done anything extra on, and you can see where I got with this one. So I got pretty far, so there's a big chance I'm gonna put this on my 2022 list and just finish it this year. It's not on there yet, but I have like, I don't know, 7 spaces or something left, so there's room for one more. But I can't say that of all of my whips, because then there's not gonna be room for anything more. Then we have Lion King by Disney Dreams. This is the small version. And now I have the big version, so there's a good chance I'm gonna give away the small version, because I would rather have the big one. This is what it looks like. Zoom in. Or gonna look like. And this is where I am at the beginning of 2022. So yeah, I'm trying to get the camera to focus. It's not really happy with me. Usually when it's darkest out, my camera starts to get iffy. I don't know why, it is what it is, but I have to film now, so this is the bottom of the pattern right here. So I kind of just need to fill in everything in between. Most of what I have done are, I have backstitched as I go. So, but there will be a lot of backstitching because this is gonna be Simba and Nala on the rock. And there is a lot of backstitching in the two lions. So, but that's fine. I will take it, do it when I get there. So this is one of the projects that is on my 20 in 22 whip list. And then I pulled out a project that's called Don't Let the Muggles Get You Down. And it's looking like this. Or will be looking like this. Okay, I need to move this over here because I want to have everything up here when I'm filming. Or maybe that's why I didn't do that, because I get the shine through. So move again. So I before the year started, I just have Don't Let, and I finished the golden snitch, the broom, and started the cauldron. The is gonna be here, and muggles are gonna be down here. So I just started the M in muggles. So and this is a really fun one. So when a space opens up for, I think this is a medium-sized project, I'm probably gonna put this in and finishes off because it stitched up really quickly. When you just count to one of the items, when you have done the counting, the stitching goes really fast. It's the whole counting that actually takes the longest on this. And then I'm gonna pause a little bit. Then we have Deck the Halls by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. If there is any information I'm not saying, just let me know and I will find the info. I don't have it right now. It's, as I said, I came home like 10 minutes ago and I'm filming this. I'm not gonna find all the information for you. Sorry, not sorry. I will find it if you ask for it. And this is where I'm at. I had some of the red in the stocking done, but not all of it. And I did the top section, and I even sewed on just a piece of fabric halfway to be able to have it in my Q-snap to do this top section, because I was gonna just do it in hand, that little bit of top section there, but this fabric is awful stitching in hand. Like, you just can't, I can't stitch on it in hand. I was struggling. It warped my fabric too badly. Like, even when I tried not to pull any stitches or anything, so put it on the frame and suddenly it was a dream to work on. So it's one of those. And the fabric is Atlantic Depth by the Crafty Kitten. It's a 32 count Murano. And I'm just gonna pause because this is crinkling when I try to get everything put away. And in the same bag, we have Fantasy Cell by Lakeside Needlecraft. And I don't think you have seen this. I don't remember because I just put the bags on the side and I'm supposed to show whatever project. So the ones that I have multiple in still, I kind of forget if I have shown it or not. So, but that's where I got to. So I fully finished like this little section of the border and this here, the back stitching and everything. So I think it looks good. I actually had a lot of fun when I was stitching on it. I don't know why, because everybody else says that the border is like a pain to stitch on. So I'm just waiting for the pain to start. It hasn't happened yet. And if it doesn't happen, like, I'm happy. Okay, what's up next? Ooh, this is a nice one. Disney Alphabet by Clouds Factory. And this is where I'm at. This is a 11 count Ada that I hand dyed myself. I bought at my local needlework store. I was supposed to buy 16 count and I had found like the big roll. You find the big rolls and they cut off what you want. And I was supposed to have 16 count and I have found the 16 count. I have put it on the table and then I told her I had 3 more like those big rolls of different sizes that I was gonna have. So I just told her I'm gonna have this and this and this and this, and then I went and looked at the other inventory while she was doing the cutting. So she did the cutting and we went to the desk to check out. She put everything, like she packed it nicely in a bag and stuff. And when I came home, I'm like, this is not a 16 count. And what the problem is when I put the ones I had chosen, there was already some of them already lying there. So I think she mixed up the Ada I was supposed to have with one that was already there, which was an 11 count. And I was like, I'm not gonna go and do the whole thing. So instead I'm gonna use it for something good and I'm gonna buy 16 count later. And then I'm gonna make sure I get the 16 count. So yeah. So Ariel was fully done. Belle was halfway done. And I counted down to Genie, or I had counted down to Genie. I just had this black top of his head. So I stitched more on Genie so I could work my way over to Hercules. So I could count my way up to Cinderella. Because right between Belle and Cinderella, there is a page break. And it was, the way the pattern is, like it was impossible to find out like where Cinderella started. Because she's, if you look closely, she's a little bit lower than Belle. So you couldn't count from the top of Belle's head. And the hairlines and stuff are different. So I didn't want to take the chance to just guess where I'm supposed to stitch or count from the eye. So count over and then up, because that usually makes a lot of trouble. So instead I got to Hercules, stitched a little bit of him, so I just could count up and be where I needed to be on Cinderella. So yeah. And I counted also my way over to Dopey. It's the top of his hat. So next time this is pulled out, I have a lot of characters that are already counted to. And this one is also one of those, when I get to a character, it goes super quickly to stitch them because there's a lot of blocks of colors. But it's the counting that takes a lot of time, and you kind of need to be precise so they actually stands in a row, or else you're definitely gonna see that one of them is like sagging a little bit down in the row, or being too high up, and I'm like, nope, not happening. And then we have not what it says on the front, that's for sure. Oh yeah, I switched over to Long Castle in the Air by Long Dog Samplers. And I'm stitching in white. I had like a blue variegated floss I was supposed to use, but it didn't. It looked white when I was stitching on it on this dark fabric, and the other one I had before this, it just didn't work. So yeah, I switched both fabric and floss, and this is where I'm at. So I remember I stitched like down the sides because I think I had just most of the top done and a little bit of the corner motif. So still a lot to go. Not sure if this will come out this year, but you never know how much I can get done. Up next, we have Pancake Samplers. It's from Cross Stitch magazine. And this is where we got to. So I did a lot of more of the back stitching up here, like finishing off the back stitching in the top, and I did some more stitches on this side right here, I believe. I think so. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, it's coming along a little by little. This one I already had like 200 stitches put into it, so only needed like 300 stitches. But I got the 500 stitches for the year, so that was nice. And that's one of the ones I hope to get to this year. When I get to the 20 and 22, I'm gonna explain more about it, but basically what I have done, I have made myself some categories, and one of them are gifts. So when I finish one of the stitching I'm doing that is a gift, I will replace it with something else that is gonna be a gift. So yeah. And then we have these new little bags. I do love them. They're really nice. I didn't show you. So this is the Pancake Sampler, how it's going to look like in the end. This is home of a needleworker. It's not really that big to do. The biggest section is like the house, and it goes really quickly when you just start stitching on it. So yeah, I like how it turns out. I'm not doing any of the call for colors. I'm doing floss I have from my stash, like hand dye by Rolanda, some color and cotton mahogany, XJU design Raven, another hand dye by Rolanda. So it's just things I have from my stash that I did kit it up and start to stitch on it, because I need to stitch more from stash. And then we have one of my favorite patterns, and I never stitch on it because it almost never fit any of the prompts I'm doing, which is a shame. So this one might end up being one of those, I'm just gonna use this for maybe a yearly that doesn't have any prompts, so I can stitch on it. It is Moogle and it's by K Warning or 8-Bit Stitch. She uses both of the names. And this is where I got to. So this little red ball on top of his head was already done. So I stitched my way over, did this ear and a little bit over here to start the next ear. And it's like when I start stitching on it, it goes really fast because it's big blocks of color, really big blocks of color. So it's a nice break from a lot of the other types of patterns I have. So this was a fun one to pull out and get my 500 stitches on. Let's see. And then we have 2 seconds. This is gonna be crinkly. This is Santa's Village by Cottage Needlework. And this is where I'm at. And all I did was just continue this border because I was stitching someplace where I didn't have the option to sit with a pattern, and I just needed to get a lot of stitches in. And Christmas themed was really nice for one of the challenges I did this year. So yeah, I was just stitching on that row. I think it's 500 stitches. It might be more that I did. And I think I managed to get to the post office. And this section is like in the post office, but it's, I think maybe where there isn't more red, the post office is supposed to start. So there's still a way to go to reach Mrs. Claus's bakery. So, but this is a really fun one to stitch. The fabric is big and doesn't want to play along. It's the call for fabric. I don't remember what it is. I got everything from the Patchwork Rabbit. It's a 32 count linen. And I have the info right here if I just could see what it says. Lamb's wool. And I think that's by Witchelt or something. And they have really stiff fabric. So yeah. And then we get to my usual suspects. Mini Still Here by Hade. And this is how far I got on her this year. I just had a tiny bit done in this corner and an even tinier bit done in that corner. And I did all of this in 2021. So I'm almost done with the hair. And actually I'm already done with, I think, 2 or 3 of the colors, because those colors are just in her hair and nowhere else. So that was pretty nice. There's a few more colors that's gonna be done when I get her hair done. So yeah, and I have started a tiny bit on her skin, which is nice. So looking really good. And yeah, it's very confetti heavy, so it takes a lot of time to stitch. And right now, like, I thought when I got to the hair, oh, this is gonna be somewhat easy, because I have seen other Hades where you have the hair and there's just a lot of the same color. No, this has a lot of different colors in it. At the same time, you get all that going on. The wings were nice during right here. There was like a block of color right here, 2 or 3 colors in that block, and then now there's just a bunch of different colors all the time. And the same with the background. And the skin is still confetti heavy because it's the shading from the hairline to the rest of the face. So there's just a lot of confetti all over this place. So sometimes I need a break and do something else. I do hope when I get further down into the skin, there's gonna be more blocks of colors. And hopefully that will help, because then I can just switch on this project what I'm doing. I do like to do blocks of colors. It's just blocks. I do like to do confetti, but you get a little bit tired of it when you have done that like 6 or 7 days straight and no blocks of colors, all just confetti, confetti, confetti. So I need a break with blocks of colors in between. So I'm gonna try and be better about that this year. So, but the good thing is, one of the projects I'm doing that usually have had a lot of blocks of colors is Cinderella by Mirabilia. And this is where I'm at. And you can see like this blocks of colors, I have done most of what I can. And right now I'm in this section with all the flowers and they're confetti heavy. So yeah, right now I'm also stuck in a confetti section on this. So that's why it goes a little bit slow. I still have a tiny bit left here to do in white. And maybe a little bit over here, but most of it has a lot of changing of the colors. Like you can see how many threads are hanging there. So, but it looks amazing. And this edge, I have reached the edge of the dress. So it's slowly getting smaller. So yeah, I hope this will be a finish in 2022. And this is on my 20 in 22 list. And that was the project I was going to show you. So let's go to my challenges for 2022. This is just an overview of the yearly stitches. Like I can see all of it at once. I didn't do that this year and I was missing that to compare between the different projects, how much I did do each month. So if we go to active whip list down here, maybe try and make it a little bit bigger for you. I'm not sure how much you can see, but you can see Mini Still Hair is on the list that I just showed you, and Cinderella that I just showed you is number 3 on the list. So those are gonna be stitched on this year. And then we have Lion King that I showed you is number 12. And we have Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, number 6. I'm not doing them in order because they're not put in the basket in order. And Winnie the Pooh and Piglet I think will be really fun because it's big blocks of colors, somewhat. And let's see, now you see everything behind the pictures because I'm not taking away what you can see on my second screen. So this is Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. And next one up is Star Wars Christmas Ornament. It doesn't have a real cover picture, so this is a picture of Julie from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World showing her finish. because I couldn't get a good picture of a finish without doing that. So, and here is mine and how far I am. And it looks amazing, and it has taken a lot of time doing all of those few stitches. Because there's so much counting and you need to be precise, or else something like I have to be precise with these stitches, all the snowflakes, because or else I will use those to count to the next big part somewhere or down here, and it would have been off. So I just needed to make sure everything was in the right spot. So I think the worst part is done. Like most of what's coming now, it's fairly dense. There's some more snow in the sky under this border, but most of it, it's fairly more dense stitching, and I think that will be easier, because also stitching on black can be a little bit difficult when you have to count longer sections, like I have to do on this one. So it's fine. I do enjoy it. I just have to be in the mindset to get it done. So this is on my list for 2022. That was number 8. And then we have D&D. I think it's something like KX Stitch on Etsy, and I think maybe the shop has closed down. So what I have so far is Be Aware, and this is the gift project. This is going to be a gift. I'm playing Pathfinder with some friends of mine, and one of those, he is the game master or dungeon master, and he has done an amazing job. So I kind of wanted to make him a gift to give, to say like thanks for all of the fun we have had, especially in 2022 when everything went into lockdown. That's when we started playing online and I could join. It was super fun. So in a way, I'm glad there came a lockdown, because then I got to play. So yeah. So I'm really happy about it. And it's gonna be fun to kind of focus on getting this done for him. So, and that was number 13, Kicks Stitches. So, and on this list, when you put in the width and the height, it will automatically calculate how much that is in, if it was a square design, you take the width and the height, add them together, and then you divide by 2, and then you find the square size. And then this spreadsheet automatically will tell you if it's a BAP, a large, medium, or small after the Known You Starts 2022 rules. Because it's a little bit different between the different groups, what they count as BAP, medium, large, small. So, but the 22 and 22 is the Known You Start challenge, so that's why those numbers are there. This is Halloween Calendar by Tiny Modernist. This is a project I do absolutely love, and I'm so glad I'm going to focus on it. And I'm in another challenge group with some friends to try and stop me from starting too much stuff. One of the challenges was to choose a project you want to finish by the year, and each month you will set a goal of what you're gonna do and do them. So you're gonna do a little bit each month and get it done by the end of the year. So I chose this. And what I have done is I divided this section into 4 squares because it's the equivalent of 4 squares. So each month I'm gonna do between 3 or 2 squares. I haven't said like this and this square. I'm just gonna take that as it comes. So yeah, and it's fully finished a square. So most of them are finished. Most of the ones you see I have stitched in are finished, but not all of them. So, and I'm converting this to my own colors. Like you can see in the picture, it's not supposed to have blue, but I didn't really like a lot of the, it was too much purple, it was too much orange, and it was a little bit too much yellow. So I had changed some of those colors out for blue instead. So, yeah. And I do absolutely love how it looks when I changed up the colors. Because the first thing I said when I saw that pattern was, I love it, but I don't love the colors. Like, I would have to change the colors. And that's what I'm doing. So I have made like a little list of ideas of where to put the blue in and change up. And as I do the different stuff, I do write down what I do and what I don't do. So eventually I can have a list of the changes. But there's a lot of changes because it might be like the eye right here. Instead of having the green, I might put blue in. So there's just small changes in all of the blocks. And that's the 3 blue colors I did choose. This one doesn't have a name. This one is a Mosaic Bluette. And this one is Indigo Sky by Extrude Design. So this one is the one I have done the sky background. Because if you remember, this moon and this moon with the bats had blue background. It's not supposed to be there, but I converted it to be there because I thought that looked better. So that's what I did. So that was Halloween calendar. And then we have number 2. On this note, I know it's a favorite by a lot of you people. You love this project, Cinderella in Rags and Riches. And I'm doing it, both of them, on one big piece of fabric that I hand dyed myself. It's a 32 count Murano. As I said, I dyed myself, and the background in the window I am converting myself. I'm doing 1/1 sky stitching, and the same with the skin. I'm doing 1/1. The rest is 1/2. Except for maybe Cinderella in Rags. I started the hair with 2/2, so it looks more, I don't know, big and fluffy. And I might do that on the rest of her dress and stuff because she's supposed to be a little bit more than Cinderella in Rags. But I do love how she is turning out. Like, I do like the petiteness of her. So not having those big bulky stitches, it suits her. Like, it looks good. She looks amazing. So that's that one. Have to put everything away or else I'm gonna regret it. So next up is Warrior. It's the last one I added to my list. It's number 14. It's by Firewing Designs. And this is where I'm at. So I'm using a hand-dyed mosaic floss for this. It's a silk. I don't remember the name right now. If you want to know, let me know and I will find it for you. And it's a lot more purple than blue, but I can never get this color correct. And the closer I take it, the more blue it looks. And I have tried to get like the... No, it looks blue. And even on picture, it turns out blue. But it's purple. It's 550 through 552, the DMC colors. Like the range is between there. Maybe even it gets down to like 209, 210, 211 some places. But it's like a 550 DMC color down to 210, I would say. Like if you have seen those shaded between each other. But it's not showing up for you. So that's it. And then we have a big one. And it's the Alice in Wonderland series by Brooke Books. And I'm doing all of them on one big piece of fabric. Yes, you heard correctly. And I decided to do it on one long piece of fabric. And this was the time where I started in the middle. And absolutely hate myself for doing that. So this section is what I have so far. And there's a lot to go. So this is the Dormouse. He is down here. So yeah, I'm currently working my way over to this side. To get to Alice. Because she is the first one in the row. And do them as the way I'm supposed to have them on this piece of fabric. So yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of detail, so hopefully I can use it for a lot of prompts. So hope that works out nicely. And then we have Tapestry by Ink Circles. It's number 10 on my list. And it's going to look somewhat like that when I finish. I did my own conversion from this with Victoria Motto Sampler Floss. Mainly from the Eliza Balcock's floss pack. Because I bought the floss pack, but I was never intending to do the Eliza Balcock Sal. But I like the colors, and it looks really good. So that's what I have. This is a 56 count. I think it's called something like Pale Yellow by XJU Design. So if you want smaller count of fabrics, go to XJU Design on Etsy because she has smaller counts of fabric. And those stitches just looks amazing. Teeny tiny, super cute. Again, a project that I do love to stitch on. Is a little bit harder than a lot of the others because it's smaller, but I do love it. But again, it's just a bunch of flowers, so it doesn't really fit into any of my prompts. So I put it on the list to this time work on it and hopefully maybe even get a finish on it this year. That would be fun. But I'm not sure I will, but it would be fun. Then we have Aladdin by Dona Stitch. It's number 5 on my list. I'm saying that mainly to myself, so I kind of keep track of what I have shown you or not in my head, so I know that I have shown you all of it. And this is where I got to in 2021. So I have two-thirds left. And it is doable to get it done by the end of the year. So maybe I can get it done by the end of the year. That would be fun. So yeah, this one. And then we have Santa's Secret by Dimensions kit. And this is where I'm at. I did not get around to stitch on this in 2021. I'm a little bit sad because I do love to work on this. But it will be worked on in 2022. It's on my list. So, yeah. Fun. And then we have the last projects I'm gonna show you. I think a lot of people will be happy with the fact that this is coming out again, because it is number 9, the last one to show you, because I have shown everything else. Find the picture. You're all waiting in anticipation for Frosty Forest by Country Cottage Needleworks. And this is the project I use for my A to Z Stitch With Me. I have not worked on it this year because when I finally got the time to work on it, it was hidden. Like, my room is a mess, so I couldn't get a hold of it. And now when it was Christmas break, I got my husband to help me like move a lot of the boxes out of the room so I could dig this out and then put everything back again after I have taken this out. So it's out. I can stitch on it again. It's on the call for fabric. It's I think it's 32 count pearl gray linen by Swigert. So yeah, as I said, it's the call for in my A to Z Stitch With Me videos. I do say what the pattern and everything is. And if you do want to see me stitching this from the beginning, all of the videos are there for you to watch. So when I pick this back up again for my A to Z Stitch With Me's, hopefully we will be able to soon finish this block and go down to do the next sections. And what I hope to do is maybe do speed stitching of all of the blocks that has this same border, everything except the middle block called Frosty Forest, because that's stitched a little bit differently. But maybe just do all of the other blocks around, so I kind of have a frame. Then it's easier to count, it's easier to just get going with my stitching. So that's something I might do, just have a speed stitch video for that. So we can get going. So yeah, it's out. I hope to start filming on this soon. I had bought a new tripod, and it's not the normal postal service that picked it up. It's like a privatized one, and I hate that. And I don't know why, because it's not supposed to go to them, but they apparently picked it up, get it through the customs, and then I got a message like, you can pick up your package. And usually the rules are you have a week to pick up your package, which is still pretty slim because the normal post office offers you 2 weeks to pick up the package, which sometimes you need, especially around Christmas time. Especially I need it around Christmas time. So I was there 3 days later and they had already sent my package back. And it's like, it's supposed to be here for a week. Well, they apparently had forgot to send me the message in time. So the package had been lying there on the post office for 4 days without me letting me know. And then they sent me the message. And when the 7 days were up, they sent it back. And they weren't supposed to send it back. Like, they had a little note on the package saying, this one is supposed to be longer because we forgot to send the note. But the people picking the package up again had just brought it with them, with the note on. And by then, when they find out, I got told, it's too late for you to get the package now, so this will be sent back. You will most likely get you have to contact where you bought it from to get your money returned, and you can buy a new one. Oh, thank you. There's a reason why I hate that postal service. It's crap. So that's my little rant of today. So yeah, I need to order that tripod again. Most likely I'm still because the problem is it's from Amazon and they haven't received the package back yet, so I have no clue where the package is. So I haven't got my money back. I can't get my money back before the package is returned, and it's all this mess. That was all the stitching I'm going to show, the project I'm going to show, but I'm gonna talk a little bit more about my spreadsheet here, or my 20 and 22. So if you can see, there's a tiny bit of color on this side where I have my categories. So mini still hair is on because it's the oldest whip. So if I finish mini still hair, whatever is my oldest whip at that point, because some of it might be finished, that is not on the list, will replace mini still hair. And since mini still hair is a BAP, that's not a problem because it can replace anything because it's a BAP. It's even a full coverage BAP. Then we have Cinderella, which is my it's a non-full coverage project. It's like the oldest full coverage project that isn't a Mirabilia. Yeah, I know, that's a handful to say. I don't like how it's showing up this line because it's not there. It's just on the camera you get this. There's a line. I don't know why. I'm not sure if you will see it or not. I see it. It might not be on the video, hopefully. So Winter Queen is the oldest after Mini Still Hair, but since she is a Mirabilia, she's not on here. So instead, the oldest non-full coverage is Cinderella in Rags and Riches. She's not a Mirabilia, she's a Joan Elliott. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of items in the design that I didn't count this as like a true big lady. Because usually with the big ladies, you only have that big dress. It can be hard to fit into prompts. So that's why I didn't want to have a lot of those on my whip list, because then it's going to be hard to stitch on what I have. I will have to start something to do the different prompts, and I don't want that. So the next one is called Big Lady. This is not my oldest one. This one is the one I need to get done first. And then if this gets done, and its mini sail here isn't finished, which is likely. Then Winter Queen will be put in this place, which is my oldest non-full coverage project at the time. Then I chose the oldest project that has a lot of stuff in it, which is really nice for those weird prompts. You can fit into anything. So that's Alice in Wonderland series by Brooke Books. I'm also considering putting in epic storybook princesses, because it has a lot going on. It's also from the same year, 2018. So that might happen in the future. Then I have my largest non-hate. My oldest large non-hate, not largest, large non-hate. So this is a large full coverage. It's not a hate, so it's Aladdin by Dona Stitch. Then I chose to have the oldest non-hate, which is a medium size. This was a medium and suddenly it's a large. I don't know why. I think I have made some wrong calculations when I did them, and then it kind of fixed itself when I put the spreadsheets to work things out for me. So it's on here because that's the closest to a medium I have. And then a Halloween project, my oldest Halloween project. It's currently a Halloween calendar, so that's on there. So when I finish that this year, which will be at the end of the year, because I can't finish it before December because of the challenge I'm doing, I can replace it with another Halloween project. Then I chose my oldest Christmas project, which is not a full coverage, and that's Star Wars Christmas Ornament. So that got on here. Then I put on my A to C Stitch With Me's because I wanted that on the list so I can go back to filming and do that. Then my largest non-hate is Tapestry by Ink Circles. So that's on the list. My medium non-hate is Santa's Secret by Dimensions. So that's a full coverage. Because it's just a non-hate, the other ones was like non-full coverage, are they supposed to be? I think I have written the categories wrong on here. And then my oldest, smallest project is Lion King. So it's a full coverage. So there's a lot of full coverage on this list. But it will be nice to get those away. And like these, like Santa's Secret and Lion King, when they are done, they will not be replaced by a full coverage, because then it's a non-full coverage that's going in here. Then we have The Gift, D&D. And in the end of December, I decided I wanted to have a monochromatic project on as a category. And I wanted it to be something that I was likely to get done first, because I have a good amount of monochromatics. I think I have maybe 4 or 5 of them. So I decided to go with one that was very close to a finish, because then it can be replaced. Just to have some projects I know will be done rather quickly of the ones I have. So the next ones I'm considering is I loved stitching on 5 Disney princesses this year. It's a big full coverage, but it has a lot going on, so that might come out and get to my list eventually. I also have was thinking about putting an ornament on there, and my coaster projects. So we're already up in like three projects. And this one called monochromatic, considering changing it to under like 5 colors, a project that has less than 5 colors, because things like Enchanted Luna, it has 5 colors, but it's a silhouette pattern, so there's not a lot going on. So to get that into that category, I might put it in. So that's my plans for my 22 and 22. Somebody asked me if I could do that. So that's my list of 22 and 22 and what I have been thinking. Some of the categories right now, I'm like, oh, it's the oldest. But when I do finish them, it might become a medium non-hate project that I want to do, and not the oldest, because I kind of have done the oldest when it's done. So then I might just do one that I want to do. Kind of. And it might be the oldest at the time. I don't know. We'll see. I don't usually write anything down in stone. I use pencil, which I can erase. So yeah. I got a little bit of goodies from a friend, or we kind of exchanged items from Norway. So she didn't want these kind of sorting devices anymore. So she asked if I wanted them. I said yes. So I kind of bought them off her hand. So I got some more floss straps. The same are these. And some more bobbins. And then she also sent me a fabric she hand dyed herself in blue, and this big piece of, I think it's 14 count Ada. So there's a big chance 14 or 16 count, maybe 16 count. So there's a big chance I'm gonna do some fabric dyeing in the future, because it's a pretty decent size fabric. So yeah. And she made these awesome name tags for Leo in vinyl, which I'm gonna put on some of his boxes. He has his luncheon and drinking bottles to school, and maybe some other fun stuff I find that I could put his name on. Now my room is a mess. I look like a mess. I have done that all day. I just did put something on, and we basically did eat breakfast and drive home. Like, it was really fun yesterday. We celebrated Christmas with my cousin and her in-law family and some neighbors. And there was a lot of kids. I think there was like 8 or 9 kids. And everyone was between the age of, I think the oldest was maybe 10. And then the second oldest was 8. And then you had like the 6 other, were from the age of 4 to 6. So there was a lot of kids and a lot of noise. And for some reason they had decided the dinner was gonna be at 6 p.m. So the dinner was done around 7 p.m. And then it's like, okay, we need to try and entertain the kids for 5 more hours. So yeah, the dinner was a little bit too early when the kids wanted to see the fireworks after dinner. So, and it was eventful. One of the children, you had these paper crowns they could put on their heads, like it's a thing we have in Norway where you pop a thingy and inside there's a little note with some words, and there's a paper crown you can have on your head. And so everyone got one of those. And of course one of the kids wanted to see how close to the flame he could put the crown without it taking fire. Yeah, that crown started to burn. And when it started to burn, he panicked and he just threw it away right where the tablecloth was, the stairs, and there was the other fabric stuff around. So he did throw it down at the worst possible place he could. So luckily one of the grown-ups, she had a bottle of soda in her hand. So, and she was on her feet because she had just picked it up. She had turned off the lid to try and pour some soda to herself. So she ran and she did throw the soda all over where the crown was burning. Luckily nothing else took fire. It didn't get any black places on the house, because it's a house that was borrowed for the evening. Oh yeah. And then we basically had to, me, my cousin, and the woman that had poured the soda to stop the flames, of course all the women, ended up washing down the entire staircase and everything around those 2 floors, because of course this crown was thrown close to the staircase. So when she did pour soda on, she poured it down the whole staircase and the whole floor below, and it was dripping to the floor below and the whole ceiling on the floor below. Like the soda kind of did lay on the ceiling because it, like, before it dripped down, and it was a nightmare. And then there was one wall in the staircase that could not get wet because it ruined the paint. So yeah, we ruined the paint of that wall. I guess it's better than we burned down the house. Yeah, so eventful New Year's Eve. And that was the big, like, after that, things calmed down. That boy got really yelled at by his parents. So he actually behaved the rest of the night. It was worse with the other kids, but every time he tried to be like running around, the parents were like, remember what happened inside the house. And he's like, I'm gonna be nice. So yeah, it was quite an evening. So luckily that was in 2022. We're now in 2021. So hopefully this will be a good year when everything goes wrong in 2021. So yeah. So I hope you all had a great new year. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to everyone. I hope it was fun for you, whatever you did, or you made the best out of whatever happened, like we did, because my husband got kidney stones on the 23rd of December and had to go to the emergency care twice and was almost hospitalized because it got so bad. And we celebrate Christmas on the 24th in Norway, like the day after. And he wasn't any better. He was better, but wasn't good on the 24th. So we had an eventful Christmas also. So yeah, whatever your Christmas or New Year's look like, I hope you had fun. We did the best out of what we had, and I do have had a great time despite everything, because what else can you do? Like, sit down in a corner and cry doesn't make that Christmas be any better. So we just had to make the best out of it, and we did, and it ended up overall being a good Christmas. So, yeah. I hope, as I said, you had a great Christmas, whatever happened to you, and a great New Year's Eve, whatever you do. If it was eventful, if it was non-eventful, I hope it was whatever you wanted, or became better, whatever happened. So yeah, I'm gonna clean up as good as I can my craft room. Hopefully by next time the workers are done, so I can get all of the boxes out of my room and get it back to how it was, and maybe get a really good start in the new year with a craft room that isn't full of boxes. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you. I might do a finish parade of what I finished. That will most likely just be showing the pictures. I might put that at the end of this video if I'm gonna edit. I don't think so. I think I'm gonna do a separate video. If that's something you want to see, please let me know and I will get to that. And when I have my new spreadsheets, it has been updated, it has been adjusted to be even better than what it was. I'm probably gonna try and show you what I have done. And if I end up liking how it is, that everything is working like it should, with limited projects, I might put also on that video a link to a copy of the spreadsheets I have, so you can use it yourself if you want to. But first I need to see that everything is fixed, because there is a few things that kind of showed up at the middle of the year with my last spreadsheet, things that wasn't correctly done. And I kind of don't want to give out the spreadsheet that doesn't fully function, and that's not one I'm gonna update. I'm updating the one I'm using, and I don't want to share the one I'm using because then you can mess up my spreadsheets. So you will need to get a copy. So, but when that time comes, it comes. So yeah. Have a lovely 2021. I hope you get a lot of stitchy kindness and a lot of stitchy time. And just remember to be kind to each other and make the best of whatever you're giving in life. Because we don't always win the lottery. We just have to make the best of what we have. So, happy 2021. Goodbye everyone.